Chapter 41 Civilized Movement. The movement begins. The civilized movement was a period of grassroots effort to put an end to racial discrimination, especially in the 1950s and 60s. Grassroots, from the people, as opposed to the government. Grassroots, from the people. Protest against segregation had begun decades earlier, but World War II helped raise more awareness, particularly among African American veterans of the hypocrisy, insincerity, pretense, hypocrisy in fighting for freedom abroad while inequality persists at home. Grass has roots that go wide and deep. Even top grass isn't very tall. Brown, Bossy, Board of Education. One of the first target was segregation. The NAACP challenged this law in the early 1950s on the basis that many separate but equal public schools for black kids were inferior to all white schools in the same district. That was a violation of the 14th Amendment, which states that all U.S. citizens are entitled to the equal protection of the law. The parents of a girl named Linda Brown sued his school district when she wasn't allowed to attend the all-white school near her house in Topeka, Kansas. The Supreme Court heard the argument in the case of Brown vs. Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas in 1952. Thurgood Marshall, a lawyer for the NAACP, presented argument for the Brown family. He convinced the court to make a landmark ruling on May 17, 1954, that placing African Americans in separate but equal schools was unconstitutional because things that are separate are never actually equal. Thurgood Marshall became the first African American Supreme Court justice. It was an unanimous 9-0 decision. In a case of next year, Brown 2, the Supreme Court required that all segregated public schools integrate with all deliberate speed. The court did not give a deadline, so some schools delayed integration for years. The Little Rock 9. In September of 1957, an Arkansas high school was ordered by a judge to admit 9 black students. Arkansas Governor Oral Forbes was a segregationist, and he sent the Arkansas National Guard to stop the students from going in. One of the Little Rock 9, Elizabeth Eckford, was threatened with lynching. For 3 weeks, the students were kept out. President Eisenhower ordered Forbes to allow the students in, and when Forbes continued to ignore this order, Eisenhower sent paratroopers to escort the students and enforce the law. Rosa Parks and the Montgomery bus boycott. City buses were segregated too. Black riders were required to give up their seat if white riders wanted them. On December 1st, 1955, the Montgomery, Alabama, a woman named Rosa Parks refused. She was arrested and fined. In response, African Americans organized the Montgomery Bus boycott, which lasted for more than a year. Most people who rode the buses were black, so the boycott cost the city a lot of money, and also cost its reputation. When the national media picked up the story, boycotters organized carpool walked, even when faced with violent segregationists and the KKK. On November 13, 1956, the Supreme Court ruled that the bus segregation law had been unconstitutional in the first place. The boycott had worked. During the civil rights era, southern states resisted the Supreme Court decision and vowed not to enforce them in a strategy called massive resistance. Furthermore, various governors proposed to interject the state government between the federal government and its citizens in a tactic called state interposition. Eisenhower, however, stood fast and used federal troops to enforce the law. Martin Luther King Jr., a young reverend named Dr. Martin Jr. King Jr., MLK Jr., rose to prominence during the Montgomery bus boycott. His talent for speech-making made him popular. In 1957, he helped found the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, a key organization in the civil rights movement. MLK Jr. was influenced by Philip Randolph and by Mohandas Gandhi, who had led protests in India against British foreign rule, using non-violent tactics of civil disobedience. Mohandas Gandhi was also known as Mahatma and Great Soul. He used non-violent protests to advocate self-rule in India against British colonizer. SITINS, sit-ins. One of the most efficient form of non-violent protest was the sit-in, sitting-in protest. On February 1st, 1960, 4 black students sat at the White's Omni lunch counter